Welcome to the Believe Podcast Network SoCal Sweat. My name is Ann McDaniels, a former NFL cheerleader and product manager turned actress and model who dreams of being a UFC fighter. Meow. Learning strategies to help motivate others leads me to bring you interviews each week from a range of athletes, experts in fitness and nutrition, and so much more. Thanks for listening to Believe, the #1 podcast for working professionals, and let's push our endorphins to higher performance through SoCal Sweat. This is your host, Ann McDaniels, and thank you so much for joining me on another episode of SoCal Sweat. As we are coming out of hibernation and eating massive amounts of junk food during this pandemic, perhaps it's time to do a little spring cleaning with our bodies and detoxify. The 7 spices I'll mention do everything from aiding in digestion, helping clear body fat, and making our skin glowing, youthful, and supple. So let's take a cue from these spices: posh spice, sporty spice, baby spice, scary spice, and ginger spice, the Spice Girls in Spice Up Your Life. And who was your favorite Spice Girl? The spices we're going to talk about in this episode all come from the Ayurvedic practice of medicine. Ayurveda is actually known as the science of life, and it's one of the world's oldest alternative health systems. It's based on the belief that things found in nature are truly our best forms of medicine. This episode will highlight the 7 greats, and then we'll add a few extra bonus ones. If you love the cuisines of Mexican, Middle Eastern, and Indian, you have surely tasted many of these spices. But starting with number 1, this is cumin. This has a warm, earthy flavor and aroma with a bit of both sweetness and bitterness. The whole seeds need to be toasted in order to reach the optimum flavor. You can use in stews, curries, sauces, dressings, or you can saute in oil with veggies and lentils. Cumin aids digestion. It supports appetite. It may decrease symptoms of IBS. It can improve risk factors for type 2 diabetes and heart disease, and perhaps even offer some protection against foodborne infections. The next spice is turmeric. Turmeric is overwhelmingly earthy and bitter, almost musky, with a bit of a peppery spice. That deep kind of implacable flavor in most curry powders, yes, that's turmeric. So turmeric is in fact used in curries, and also I take it every day with apple cider vinegar and water. I mix it up, and it is an anti-inflammatory. It's also wonderful for the skin. It gives us glowing, healthy, and supple skin. It's also antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, and it has those added beauty benefits that I mentioned. It's great for your skin with uneven skin tone and making your skin look brighter, lustrous, and glowing. For a face mask, you can mix 1 teaspoon of honey, 1 teaspoon of milk, and a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric to make a quick face pack. You can leave it on for 25 minutes, wash it off, and you have glowing skin. It also has a warming effect on the body. And for consumption, it's recommended to take with fats for the best absorption into your body. The next spice is actually a sweet spice, and this is cardamom. It has a complex aroma of piney, fruity, and almost menthol-like flavor. And you can add it to oatmeal, rice, or warm milk, and sprinkle in cakes, cookies, and smoothies. And again, it's anti-inflammatory, boosts immunity, and flushes toxins out of the body. This next one is extremely polarizing in the American market. This is actually called coriander, which is the same thing as cilantro. It comes from the same plant. Cilantro are the leaves, and coriander is the dried seeds. So do you like coriander? Do you like cilantro? You either love it or hate it. I love it in salsas. I don't love it on salad. That's very specific for me, in my opinion. But this eases bloating and gas, relieves acid reflux, and it's great for allergy season, which so many of us are in right now. And it helps the body release heat to stay cool in the summer. Hence why it's added to gazpacho, salsas, and you find it a lot in hot climates because it helps you stay cool. You can add the powder to lentils, veggies, use the leaves in chutneys, sauces, garnishes, and again, salsas, salads. The sky's the limit, but do you love coriander and cilantro or do you hate it? And again, for me, add it in salsas and foods, but not on salads alone. I don't want them, although I think the leaves are very beautiful. This next one is also very polarizing. Let's just say that you have 2 bags of licorice in front of you. You've got the Twizzlers red and the Twizzlers black, or the red vines if you like red vines, but sometimes those will take your teeth out. So you have the red and the black. Which one do you prefer? For me, I prefer the black, and that is black licorice, which comes from the fennel or anise root. And fennel is one of our top spices in this case. Again, do you like black licorice or red licorice? For me, I always bet on black with gambling and licorice. Fennel can actually be made in teas with equal parts of ground cumin, coriander, and fennel. You steep in hot water for 5 minutes, strain and sip, and it aids in digestion, it freshens breath, it soothes the throat after a meal, and also helps support milk production for breastfeeding women. And that is fennel, tasting like black licorice. And shall you always bet on black? Now, the next 2 spices speak for themselves. Obviously, the American diet is very familiar with the both of these, and those are ginger and cinnamon. Ginger, it fights germs, it keeps your mouth healthy, it calms nausea, it also soothes sore muscles, eases arthritis symptoms, and can also curb cancer growth. I love ordering sushi, and I go to town on that ginger because it definitely cleanses the palate, freshens breath, and everybody needs that coming out of their masks during the end of this pandemic. The other spice we know a lot about is cinnamon. Cinnamon can be found anywhere, everywhere, in desserts, and add an extra pinch of this at Starbucks. It lowers blood sugar levels and has a powerful anti-diabetic effect. It's well known for its blood sugar lowering properties. It also helps reduce belly fat and the dangerous visceral areas, which are the areas around your heart and lungs. Apart from the beneficial effects on insulin resistance, cinnamon can also lower blood sugar by several other mechanisms. And just a little fun fact that may interest you. Cinnamon actually boosts sexual arousal. And it is said that if you rub cinnamon oil into your nether regions, you can also go to town, just like the ginger after a meal of sushi. Now, I want to give you a bonus of 6 more spices that we may not be so familiar with. The first one is bitter melon. This is an Ayurvedic spice that may help lower blood sugar levels and boost insulin secretion. It may also reduce LDL, which is the bad cholesterol levels, but through more research is needed because strong conclusions cannot be made. The next one is gotu kola, and I'll put all of these in the notes, of course. This can help boost memory and reduce stress, anxiety, and depression, as well as improve a variety of skin conditions such as stretch marks, varicose veins, eczema, and psoriasis. The 6th one you might be familiar with, and that's ashwagandha. Maybe you've seen that in ashwagandha teas. Well, this helps your body manage stress more effectively, which we can all use a little bit more of. And it can also lower your blood sugar levels and improve sleep. Again, so many of us are suffering with sleep, and anything we can do, ashwagandha tea, if that helps, that would be brilliant. So it improves that sleep, memory, muscle growth, and male fertility. Male fertility. Take some ashwagandha. The next one is Boswellia. And again, these will all be in the podcast notes. This has anti-inflammatory properties. It can also reduce joint pain, enhance oral health, and improve digestion, as well as increasing breathing capacity in people with chronic asthma. And so many people suffer with asthma due to higher obesities and people who smoke. So Boswellia for people with asthma can really help. The next one is called Trafala, which is actually made up of 3 different Ayurvedic spices of their own, and that is Amla, Ubitaki, and Harataki. It can help reduce joint inflammation, improve digestion, and promote oral health. And finally, we have Brahmi. This is also an Ayurvedic herb believed to lower inflammation, improve brain function, and reduce symptoms of ADHD. It can also increase the body's ability to deal with stress, although more research is needed. But if it can reduce symptoms of ADHD, sign me up for Brahmi. But let's go back and review the top 7 for spring cleaning of your body and detoxification. And those are cumin, turmeric, cardamom, coriander, fennel, ginger, and cinnamon. Please make sure that if you're using turmeric, it is called the golden spice, and it will turn anything golden in your pathway. It will stain so completely, I can promise you that. And it was just so funny because I had looked up a beauty trick. Actually, I didn't look it up. Another model told me about it, and I think that she was sabotaging me. Apparently, if you brush your teeth with turmeric, you keep it on in a paste for like 5-10 minutes, and then you rinse it off, and supposedly your teeth are supposed to be white. And again, that's the same thing as what I had mentioned before on the beauty face mask of adding it to your face for a brightening effect. No, it definitely turned my teeth orange. I mean, or as we say, the golden spice. Maybe I had golden teeth, but no, my teeth were definitely orange. And I had to use Crest whitening strips for 2 months thereafter. Thank you, fellow model. I don't recommend it, although I have seen on YouTube that it does work. I don't know if I did it wrong. I definitely obviously did, but don't put it on your teeth as I did. But I'm going to put a lot of different recipes, links in the notes. And I was so inspired by Jay Shetty's wife. If you know Jay Shetty, he is an author, speaker. He writes the book Think Like a Monk. Well, his wife is a plant-based chef, and her name is Radhi Devlukia Shetty. She's attracted millions of followers with her recipes and health and wellness videos. And she's just a beautiful woman, person, and has wonderful recipes. And this was all inspired by her. And she really speaks about, Ayurvedic being a traditional Indian system of medicine. And it aims to preserve health and wellness by keeping the mind, body, and spirit in balance and preventing disease rather than treating it. And she said in her household, growing up in India, that turmeric was used for everything. It's almost like my big fat Greek wedding when they used Windex for everything. She said that turmeric was used for all ailments in her family. So I will add her Instagram and her recipes to the podcast notes. Just a couple tips also. Spices that are in their raw form are better than the ones that we get powdered in the grocery stores, but hey, I definitely use the powdered grocery store ones unless it calls for a very specific recipe. But add some spice to your life. Add some different spices to your cooking, your desserts. Like I said before, coriander can be added to your baking. It just gives you color. And when we eat colors of the rainbow, that's just automatically found in nature, and nature is medicine. And all of these spices have so many gorgeous colors and flavors, and experiment with it. Spice up your life. So that was just a way to spring clean and detoxify your body coming out of the hibernation and the long pandemic. And what was your favorite indulgent food? For the most part, all the interviews that I've done for the Believe SoCal Sweat podcast, I've always asked people at the end, what has been your favorite cheat food? It's mostly been chips and ice cream. Some people were very specific. One person said chicken masala. And thanks to TikTok, many of those recipes were mentioned. And I definitely liked the coffee foam. Did you guys try that one? Did you try the cloud bread? Oh, the cloud bread is amazing. And for people that don't know out there, cloud bread is actually a keto-based bread, and it is extremely low in carbs and very high in protein. It's made of egg whites, cream of tartar, I believe, cream cheese, and eggs? Don't quote, and egg whites, yes, and egg whites. And you can certainly substitute the cream cheese for cottage cheese or Greek yogurt. And I encourage you to look up cloud bread. And talking about going to town, you can go to town on the carbs, make sandwiches, pizzas. There's so many recipes out there, but it's called cloud bread. So a lot of people were eating that, but I loved the caffeine, the coffee foam that was made all over TikTok with the blending of the decaf coffee and then making it into a foam. Oh, I thought it was amazing. But again, for those on the keto diet and you're craving carbs, you can always do the pork rinds and things like that, but also try that keto bread because it is extremely low in carbs and definitely high in protein. But as we come out of this pandemic, people have gained a lot of weight, and we can still order from our favorite restaurants, but maybe while you're doing that, You can lessen that by adding more cooking into your household, having dinners together, and maybe adding some of these spices to your cuisines. I can promise you, you can detoxify and spring clean your bodies moving forward. And always bet on black. And what a great learning. Cinnamon oil for sexual arousal. Yes, you learned it from me. Thank you again so much for joining me on another episode of Believe SoCal Sweat, and I wish you guys a wonderful weekend. We appreciate you for listening, and please subscribe and rate the show on iTunes. You can also listen on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Luminary Tuned In, or at Believe.com. You can always reach out to me for any questions or topics you'd like covered on the show at Ann McDaniels or at Ann McDaniels Actress. And I'll see you next time.